And welcome back. Good morning, YouTube. I'm still up. I'm pulling an all-nighter. I do need to try to get to sleep at somewhat of a reasonable time, so I wake up in time for work tonight at 6-ish to get to work at 7. But in the meantime, I'm trying to have a good morning. So it's straight up 8 o'clock, Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. It's Groundhog Day. And if the groundhog that mattered was in Phoenix, I'm pretty sure it would be seeing its shadow today because it looks like it's going to be really nice and sunny. But I forget the city where the whole groundhog thing is supposed to happen, which makes me feel like a real fail as a Bill Murray fan, because I've watched that movie more times than I could count, and you think I would know the name of the city it takes place, or the small town it takes place in, but I don't. All I know is that every day starts with Sonny and Cher, "I Got You, Babe," on the alarm clock radio. I might have to watch Groundhog Day today, because I'm probably not doing that. So I'm at some point I am going to get the tools that I mentioned in the last video so I can finish my cassette case project, which, just mental refresher, is some finer grit sandpaper. Oh, and of course I didn't bring the sandpaper I have, so do I remember what grit of sandpaper I need a finer sandpaper than? No. But I kind of remember what it feels like, so hopefully I can just kind of do it by sight and feel, and not buy more of the same crap I already have. But I'm already kicking myself in the ass for not grabbing the piece of sandpaper that I had with me for reference. Also want to get a I hate that there's no sidewalks in this neighborhood. It sucks for that guy and his dog that he has to walk in the street, and it sucks for me as a driver that he has to walk in the street. So this is that intersection I was talking about the other day that I feel would be a lot more functional if it had a three-way stop instead of just a stop sign where I stopped. So you can actually see it in the daytime. Not like you see a whole lot with me driving through it in the same direction I drove through it the other day. Or did I drive through it that way? I'm trying to remember if I hung a left to continue down 46th Street or if I turned right onto Palm. I think I turned left onto 46th. This is generally the direction I go when I'm headed to work. And I think that's where I was headed when I shot that video and got sidetracked by how in my head that intersection could be greatly improved by the presence of 2 more stop signs, little signs denoting that it's an all-way stop, and also sidewalks, marked crosswalks in all 3 directions, as well as sidewalks all the way around. Right now, only 2 of the 3 corners have sidewalks. I don't want to turn that way, come to think of it. I'm headed to my, and now I'm wondering why the hell I turned left that way, because I'm headed to my storage right now. That's not my final destination, that's where I'm headed to right now, and that's where this video is going to end, because I've already looked at the traffic view between here and where I'm going after my storage, and there's lots of traffic on the freeways. There's a pretty gnarly accident on Loop 202 that I'm going to need to figure out how I'm getting around. And so not going to be able to vlog on that trip. Y'all gonna miss out on that. But I'm headed to the west side, around 67th Avenue and Thomas, to pick up a friend of mine from Bullocks. Not somebody that ever worked at Bullocks, but just somebody who used to come in and come to my karaoke show. Someone who her and sometimes her friends in tow like my show enough that they actually only once. Granted, since I've been at Bullocks, I haven't had a lot in the way of other shows for people to go to, but her friends and her group of friends did come to what I believe was my last night hosting at Jay's Cocktail Lounge. And of course, me losing that gig ended up being, no great loss, because I'm pretty sure Jay's Cocktail Lounge has now been out of business for quite some time, and the front of the building is basically a homeless encampment. So c'est la vie on losing that. But yeah, anyway, going to see her, and she's at a friend of hers getting a shower, and then I'm bringing her over to her place so she can get dressed, and then we're gonna go get breakfast. So that should be fun. I don't think this quite constitutes a date, but whatever. I haven't had someone to want to have breakfast with me in a long time, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, as you can hear clanking around in here, I got loads of recycling on the floor of the passenger side, which is really trashy and tacky, but yeah, that's just generally where I put it when I'm almost always alone, so it's a convenient place to put the recycling. I've also got 2 boxes of recycling from home, and I just want to drop that all off at my storage. Yeah, drop that all off at my storage, so at least the front seat of the car is clean for her, and also so I have more of my recycling transported to my storage. At some point when it's a little nicer out and not so damn cold, need to start really getting a handle on all the stuff that I have at my storage, including the recycling. And granted, recycling generates so little money. It's not like I'm really doing it for the money at this point, but the little bit of money it does generate is nice when it happens. $60 in my pocket is $60 in my pocket, and I'll take it. And I enjoy crunching the cans and sorting the cans and the bottles when I'm over there. Usually when I do it, I'm either listening to music. I've got a pair of vintage little Sony powered Walkman speakers. I'm not sure if they're Walkman branded or not, to be honest, but I know they're Sony, and they're I want to say mid 80s. I think they've got the little "It's a Sony" stickers on it, so that kind of dates them. They sound like 3-inch powered speakers, but I still enjoy using them. And sometimes I plug my phone into it, and sometimes I plug other stuff into it. I still got the little cheapo Chinese TV radio combo, and occasionally I listen to that. And I've also still got the little Philco hip hop record player, which still isn't capable of playing records, but that AM radio plays a KAZG quite wonderfully, and I'm always happy to listen to KAZG when I'm crunching cans. So I want to put that back on my agenda soon. In the meantime, still moving recycling over there. As for the cassette project that I was talking about in the last video, made a little bit of progress on that while I was working on some other stuff in the living room. And of course wasting time on Reddit, as per always. And chatting with my friend that I'm going to have breakfast with. Whoa, hello, bicycle. I listened to that Bonnie Raitt cassette and thoroughly enjoyed that, and it sounded great. And then when I looked it up on my Discogs, I found out that not only had I already cataloged that one, but I'd also put a notation that it was play tested, and then had the date that I last played it, which was probably about 7-8 months ago. Which is kind of laughable. So apparently it was sitting in the same place also due to me being out of places to put cassettes away in proper order. So this has apparently been a longer running problem than I can even remember it being. So granted, I have way more important things I should probably take care of in my apartment, but I'm going to actually get this done because I'm enjoying this project, and not having cassettes laying all over the place is certainly something that will help in my ultimate endeavor to clean up the apartment. Anything else worth mentioning? Geez, let me think about that. Fast forward and rewound the what do you call it? The I've been kind of wanting to see that guy for a while. That does not sound good at all. Yikes. I think the cold's affecting it. Those are crushed cans. Those are nut crushed recycling. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I need one I can empty the stuff in the car out in. Now, I never thought about it when I got this storage in this location, but oh, it's actually staying open. Oh, no, it's not. The angle of the asphalt here makes it to where my stupid car seat or car door won't stay open. Won't stay open when I'm here emptying stuff out of it. So that's a minor annoyance. I open my door and I expect it's going to stay open, and it doesn't. I just love it when I pick up cans in the road because they're already crushed way more than I'm going to get them crushed. And what the hell is that? Session Ale brewed with pineapple. Dirty Heads Vacation. That was not one of my cans. That's a neat looking one though. Sounds like pricey beer. That is what it sounds like. All right. Front seat is clean enough for passengers. That's a good thing. And that box is pretty much full as well. Anyway, I should wrap this up, close that box up, and grab the other two boxes out. As for the cassette project, fast forward and rewound the Blood, Sweat, and Tears cassette several times, and I do think I've listened to most of it, and I think it's playing okay now. I definitely want to get home and listen to it again, and I'm thoroughly enjoying that best of compilation. It's been a while since I've really listened to Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And also, seems like there was another cassette that I worked on. Oh yeah, a while back when I was kind of enjoying my cassettes again and adding more cassettes to the collection and whatnot, listening to new arrivals and adding them to my Discogs. I was listening to Bruce Springsteen, Tunnel of Love, and right as it started playing, it ate the tape. I don't know why it ate the tape. There's not a problem with my tape deck. I think it was a stuck reel in the cassette. And the problem, the fix for that is also a whole lot of fast forward rewind after you reel the tape back up. But when it happened, I just didn't have time to deal with reeling the tape back up. It's been sitting on my turntable with the tape just kind of dangling over the edge in hopes that the cats won't mess with it and it can at least not get damaged further that way. Anyway, I got that reeled back up and have been fast forwarding and rewinding it. So hopefully that one will be listenable by the end of the day. Anyway, I want to wrap this up. Thanks for coming with me on this quick drive, and looking forward to actually having breakfast with some female company. And welcome back, YouTube. I said that I wouldn't be shooting video on the next leg of this drive, and I was wrong. I checked the video. There is a really bad accident, as I stated, on Loop 202, and there's a lot of bad traffic in places. However, as per usual for this time of the morning, all the really heavy traffic is, oh, look at this guy's gonna roll right through that red light. Yep. Then again, it looks like it stopped when he, meanwhile, I'm stopping while it's not blinking. Go me. That's all right. At least that guy was able to get in a little better. Yeah, as per usual this time of day, the heavy traffic on I-10 is inbound, heading from the west side into downtown Phoenix. It's not actually, there's no traffic to speak of going west from downtown Phoenix, which is where I'm going. So the plan is just to stay on this to new traffic pattern ahead. There, it's putting in another hawk here. Nice. Wilson Elementary School crosswalk, 30th Street. That's a good thing. It's kind of a shame that that's what it takes to get people to almost but not always stop their cars for pedestrians crossing in a crosswalk. But then again, I'm in Arizona, home of the statutorily defined unmarked crosswalk that most motorists don't even know is a thing. So, or sale or lease. That was a used car lot on the right there for a long time. Luxury Motors. There's still a sign there. The type of urban renewal that's happening here is certainly interesting to me. It's a state prison on the right, by the way. That's Alhambra. Alhambra State Prison, which is basically a sorting facility. That's where all new residents get transferred to from various county jails, and that's where they stay while they're classified, and the State Department of Corrections figures out where they're going to be permanently housed. Got to stay there for a while. It was actually not a bad thing. Arizona State Hospital that I'm passing on the right now. Got to stay there for a while. That was also an interesting stay. Yeah, I think my roommate murdered his parents, if I remember right, or at least did something horrifically awful to them. And right now I'm having trouble remembering exactly what that was, and I'm sure that's probably just because it was so horrific that I've tried to block it out of my mind. But I remember him being a really cool guy and us enjoying a lot of the same music and walking through the building, listening to a stereo with a set of earbuds, with one in one of my ear, one in one of his ears, and I remember that's when Black Sabbath first got back together with Ozzy Osbourne and released a best of album, which I can't remember the name of, but it was a best of album with 2 new songs. I should really be in that left turn lane, getting the green arrow right now. Oh well, missed opportunity. I've got another back road that I usually use when I'm wanting to do what I'm getting ready to do here, which is go from westbound Van Buren, headed into downtown Phoenix, and then get onto I-10 from Washington Street. Learned this trick that I'm about to do many years ago as a cab driver. It's the second one of those Waymo vehicles I've seen. I haven't updated my Waymo One app, but I do think they're offering. Oh shit! I about missed my turn. I do think they're offering Uber type service now all over Central Phoenix. Seems like I heard that somewhere. I can't believe I almost missed this turn. And I forget what street this is. 22nd Street, I think. Yeah, these dips or something else. Yeah, 22nd Street. Both of those streets where I cross those dips are something else, but there's usually no cross traffic at all turning onto it. And then you get to the red light here. Now this was a whole lot more functional before they added the light rail to it for people driving. But get to the red light here, hang it right on red, and then you got a right turn lane where you can turn right on red and either get onto the it puts you immediately on the westbound 10, but you can also from this on-ramp get on the northbound 51 or the eastbound loop 202. And that's a free flow lane. Usually I don't get stuck behind a truck that's not moving when I go that route. So yeah, unless an accident happens, like in the next, 10 or so minutes, this should be a quick drive from here to 67th Avenue. So I did tell my friend it was going to take me probably 30 to 40 minutes to get to her. I haven't really been paying attention to the time, but I know it didn't take me too long to get out into my car, and too long to get to pack and store, and it didn't take me too long to put all my recycling away. I did have a bit of a distraction. The guy that I mentioned that was on the bicycle, and And I can't remember that guy's name to save my life. And I've known him for, God, probably over a decade now. He's quasi-homeless. I know he has a handful of places that he kind of stays at, but he's borderline homeless and has been for a long time. But he's not like any other homeless person I've ever met. He's fairly elderly. I want to say he's probably pushing 80. Former Marine. And I know he served, I'm not sure if he's a Vietnam vet or not. I know he told me that he served in some conflict, and I can't for the life of me remember, but Native American man, I wish I could remember his name, but really cool guy, and I just always have the best conversations with him about just life, the universe, and everything. And for a guy that is living in such a, what most people would consider just a horrible situation, where like he semi-lives out of a storage unit and has a bicycle and is very elderly without, functionally a pot to piss in and no retirement or anything. He takes damn good care of himself and is just radiates positivity every time I talk to him. The guy's inspiring. I just enjoy talking to him. But yeah, we caught up a little bit. Because it's probably been, I want to say 7-8 months since I last saw him. But glad I saw him. I was beginning to wonder if maybe he wasn't there anymore. My other, adjacent neighbor there had, I want to say pack and store. I always still want to call it pack and store, but used store. Still has his own lock, still has his own padlock on his door, but he also still has a red padlock on his door. So I forget, I used to know exactly how long it took for the whole procedure to go through. I don't remember offhand. I want to say it's a month. I think they have to wait a whole month before they can cut off the tenant's lock and they take possession of all their stuff. But it's been my experience and mind you, I've had my stuff there over a decade. I've been over a decade. It's frightening to think how much I've spent to store all my junk for the last decade at used store. And I'm sure the math doesn't check out whatsoever, but it's what I do. I usually, from what I've seen experience, especially, considering that there was a time where I was dating the manager of the place, my younger daughter's mother. Generally speaking, if that red lock doesn't come off within the first week of it getting put on there, it's not coming off. So, kind of bummed out. The guy that went there, and he bought a pair of speakers from me once. Really nice guy. Also an elderly Native American man. Drove a really old beat-up van, like a big, full-size van, probably from the late 70s, early 80s. And its exhaust was starting to smell pretty bad, so I'm assuming he had a home somewhere else. I mean, he was buying home stereo gear from me, so and he was interested in buying like a high-capacity CD changer, although that ended up never happening. But yeah, I got a feeling he's probably fallen on even harder times and he's coming back, which bums me out. Boy, look at that inbound traffic on the 10. Everybody just sitting in gridlock. I never understand why people will sit in that much gridlock on I-10. If that's the direction I was going right now, and thankfully it's not, I'm headed out to 67th Avenue. But if I was, I wouldn't be on I-10. I'd be on Van Buren. I'd be willing to bet any amount of money that there isn't shit for traffic on Van Buren right now. Because there hardly ever is. And Van Buren is just a little more than a half mile south of here, and it parallels the freeway. But yeah, when I get on I-10 in the morning, if there's any red on it, unless it's maybe like a less than a quarter of a in the Google Maps traffic view. I go down Van Buren. I don't mess with it. I don't mess with sitting in congestion on I-10. So I haven't got a text message back from my friend I'm going to have breakfast with, which is probably a good thing. That means that she's probably just, well, she said she was taking a shower, so just probably what I should do, but I still have no hot water, so there's that. Just had that moment where I'm trying to remember if there's an exit for 67th Avenue, and yes, there is. Okay. You know, I drive past this almost every day going to Amazon. You'd think I would have memorized all the exits the way they are now, but I tend to struggle with things that change because my memories are so solidly wrapped around the way things were. And from what I've read, that's an autistic trait, so make of that what you will. But yeah, I really struggle with things when the name changes. Like, U-Store will always be Pack and Store in my mind. The amphitheater a few miles out here on the right, I don't even know what the hell it's called now. It's changed names so many times, but it'll always be Desert Sky Pavilions to me. So yeah, the Loop 202 where it's about to split off here, that's a new thing. That's only been here for, oh damn. Of course you need to pass me on the right, a-hole. Yeah, this intersection here with the 202 South, that is a very recent addition to this freeway. And when they did it, they also added some frontage roads that didn't used to be there, which are not pedestrian accessible frontage road. So they're like functional mini freeways into themselves. And then all the exits between 43rd and 75th, or maybe it's between 51st and 75th, have changed. So there is still an exit for 67th Avenue, and after I thought about it for a moment, I did remember that. But it's not where it used to be. Like right now, I'm going underneath 59th Avenue as I take the exit for 67th, and the exit for 67th actually connects to that no pedestrian access road. As you see, I'm merging into it right here. And oh wow, I'm looking to the left, and I-10 is absolute gridlock, hardly moving at all. Yeah, the sign says speed limit 45, and I'm doing about 56. As you see, I'm just flowing with traffic. There's 63rd Avenue. I don't even think the traffic goes over that overpass. I think that bridge is just there for future planning purposes. It's just there. Meanwhile, that guy, I'm speeding over 10 miles over the speed limit, but that guy just had to fly around me. Yeah, the exit to 67th Avenue used to be after the 63rd Avenue overpass, where 63rd Avenue isn't. But it's functional. Wow, and that guy that just absolutely had to speed around me in his Lexus, as you see, he gained so much on me. He's one spot ahead of me at the traffic light. It just strikes me as a waste of fuel. And also kind of a risky thing to do. It's not worth the risk. So to my left, there's a Volkswagen, and behind him is a GMC double king cab type pickup, and there is enough space between both of those vehicles that I could have my Saturn sitting between the two. I don't understand what is up with drivers these days. Like, watch, there's the Volkswagen, and there's the truck. And he was actually sitting with more than that much space behind him. I don't know why that's such a common thing these days. but it is. So I don't really talk much about what happened last night after I got to Monkey Pants. So my friend Terry was hosting, and so good to see her. I probably haven't seen her in over a year. Now we keep in touch pretty much via Snapchat. She comments on my random snaps here and there, and I comment on hers here and there, and then sometimes we'll chat, when we got the time. And her and I have known each other, gosh, I want to say over 15 years, maybe longer. I met her through her cousin, Brad. And I met Brad just out at karaoke bars. And I think I met him just as a person who liked going to karaoke bars, and he also likes going to karaoke bars before he ever came to one of my shows, if memory serves. But yeah, I haven't seen Brad well over a decade. She did talk to me about him. She said that she went to see him recently. They're both Navajo. He went back. I'm not sure if he went actually to the reservation or if he just went to a town in New Mexico near the Navajo Nation. But I know he moved back up that way a long time ago, and I completely lost touch with him then. But I've stayed in touch with, and the thing was, Brad and I used to be pretty good friends, talked all the time. I only would occasionally talk to his cousin. But over the last decade, I've functionally lost touch with Brad, but I see him pretty steady contact with his cousin, and unfortunately there was hardly anybody that turned up for a karaoke show last night, so that was a little disappointing. Some kind of carnival setting up on the left. That looks interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna have to shut this down because I'm just about where I'm going, but thanks for coming with me on the drive.